What's up everybody, it's Christy from Beauty. I'm here today to talk about some hair myths that need to be debunked. I recently put a poll on my Instagram story and asked about some hair myths that were kind of going around. There's some very old ones and some new ones, and today we're going to set the record straight because a lot of these are just so dumb and absolute horse manure. So we're gonna get into some science and some things that are not science because it's just common sense. All right, first one, you have to skip conditioning if you have fine or greasy hair. And that's actually false. Not conditioning is never the answer because your hair, your ends need moisture in order to stay healthy. If you deny them of moisture, essentially they're going to just break off. There's a number of different variables for an oily scalp. Genetics is one, irritated scalp is another, poor hair care routine, if you've had an environmental change, hormonal changes, poor diet. There's all kinds of things internally that could be contributing to an oily scalp. So the first thing is that I would pay attention to what shampoo and conditioner you're using, because 9 times out of 10, if it is a drugstore product, it's probably riddled with like silicones and parabens and really heavy extra things that make your hair feel soft. But what it's actually doing is just coating the hair with wax. So try to find a shampoo and conditioner that suits your hair type. So I don't recommend like a drugstore product, obviously. So the line that I use is called Debunked. It's a plant-based line out of Italy. And for my fine, like thin, fine hair textures, I usually recommend the Day Day line. So Day Day stands for delicate, meaning you can use it to wash a little bit more frequently if you are somebody that likes to wash like every other day. It is specifically formulated for more delicate strands and a more fine hair type without weighing the hair down. Also, pay attention to your diet and the certain foods that you eat. So if you're eating like a lot of saturated fats, like a lot of fried foods, a lot of fast food, that can also play a part in why your hair might be a little bit more oily than normal. If you're an anxiety-ridden person like me, you just want to touch it all the time. Just try your hardest not to touch it because the oil from your fingertips gets onto your scalp and then that contributes to your problem. Also, cut back on using or overusing styling products. So as far as styling products go, I'm always a less is more type of person because the more product you overload onto the hair, A, the more product buildup you're gonna get, and B, the greasier and heavier it's gonna look after a day or two. All right, on to the second one. Coconut oil, avocado, mayo treatments, etc. are helpful. This is a common one and it's so painful to watch people do these on TikTok because it actually really does not do anything repair-wise. If your hair is chemically damaged or heat damaged, and let me be very clear about this, there is no magical natural treatment that is going to help you. So these things can kind of help with frizz, maybe a little bit. It can also like kind of make your hair look shinier, but really it's just putting a band-aid on the problem, which if you have overly dry hair or you have severely damaged hair, put all that shit in the trash and go get a salon treatment and a haircut. Because no amount of mayo or egg yolks or avocado or any of that crap is gonna solve your problem. Like, you need a professional to help you with that. So in the long run, if you keep using like essentially a vegetable protein, which is what that is, your hair cannot naturally absorb a protein that is foreign to your body. What that's gonna do is just create a buildup. Makes it harder in the future for color services. It can cause like a resistance or kind of like a weird laminate over the hair. Salon quality masks and treatments are scientifically formulated to help repair damage and to create moisture in a way that your hair is actually going to absorb. Okay, number 3. Stress turns your hair gray. So there's actually like no scientific proof to prove this theory. Gray hair is genetic, and it's something that happens to a lot of people, and we can't control when it happens or in the quantity that it happens. There are things that you can do to cover it, like gray blending or coloring your hair. But as far as like stress being the cause of it, there's nothing that I have found personally in researching all of these that proves that stress causes gray hair. Okay, number 4, your hair gets used to the products that you're using. So your hair doesn't develop immunity of the products or the things that you're using. If your products aren't working, your hair needs have changed. The things that can affect your hair needs are environmental changes, like maybe you've moved to a new city or a new state, it has different water, different sun exposure, that sort of thing. Artificial color changes. So maybe you're going a lot lighter for the summer and you notice that your ends are a little bit more dry, which can happen. It is the territory of being lighter. Even like diet changes or vitamin deficiencies, not drinking enough water, these are things that can affect your hair needs. And so it's not the product that your hair is rejecting, it's just your hair is trying to tell you like, hey, things have changed a little bit and you need to adjust to what we need. Number 5, and the one I've been wanting to address the most this whole time, and I know I can speak for colorists everywhere when I say that color takes better on dirty hair. This myth. This is just so not accurate. And I want to know the name and address of the person who created this myth because it makes me insane. Common sense, really quickly. Like, this isn't even like scientific. When you go to get your hair colored, you sit down in my chair and you say, oh, I haven't washed it for a week for you. How much sense does that actually make? Like, how much sense does that make? Why would you want your color to work harder to penetrate through all of your dirt and grime and sweat and dry shampoo from the last week? First of all, that's nasty. Second of all, it helps me not at all. I will say though, if you have a super uber like little baby fetus scalp that's super sensitive, like sometimes having your natural oil will help if your scalp gets super sensitive with color. There's nothing about not washing your hair before an appointment that it makes it take better. So don't do it anymore. Okay, this was a newer one. Your hair has a shedding season. So I've been in the industry for 13 years now, and there's nothing in any of, at least I don't remember hearing my instructors talk about like, yep, so all of humankind, during these months we shed. Like our hair just falls out more. There's nothing scientific behind this myth. I've actually not even really heard of that until I posted this poll on my Instagram. That was just really interesting. There's no proof to back this up because everybody's bodies are different. Everybody's chemical makeup is different. Everybody's like genetic makeup is different. So the average person loses about 100 hairs a day. There are months that maybe you notice your hair gets more dry in the winter time, and that's just a climate change. There's less moisture in the air. So in the winter time, not necessarily that your hair falls out more, but it just could feel a little bit more dry. Versus in the summertime, your hair and nails will sometimes grow faster because your sweat and oil glands are more active. But long story short, we don't molt like birds. Okay, number 7. Brush your hair 100 strokes a day. So that one's an oldie, but also a myth. So overbrushing can actually cause irritation and like friction on the scalp, which can potentially lead to hair loss or itchy scalp. Also, who has the time in the day to sit in front of a mirror and watch themselves count 100 strokes, 100 brush strokes? Like, that is some like psycho narcissist shit. It's just like, brush your hair if it's knotted. If it's not, leave it alone. Like, that's it. Number 8, air drying is bad. And on the flip side, blow drying is bad. So this is a fairly new one. I personally am all about balance. So addressing the air drying, when your hair is exposed to warm water, like when you take a shower, your hair actually swells. Like your cuticle opens a little bit. That's why we tell people with like fashion color or, you know, colored hair to wash your hair with cold water, because it decreases the chances of your cuticle swelling. But a recent study showed that the longer your hair is exposed to water, meaning when you let your hair air dry, the more pressure is put on the proteins that make up your hair. So when you air dry your hair, you may notice that it doesn't feel quite as like sleek and smooth. This is because your cuticle is not completely laid down the way that heat styling does that for you. So when you're air drying the hair, it's just kind of drying in its natural state. It's harder to get it really sleek and shiny without doing heat styling. On the flip side of that, blow drying every single day with high heat is obviously not going to be very good for it. It can actually cause your ends to like singe. I just need to grab my blow dryer for this to show you guys. So I have my blow dryer. This grill, when you have on high heat, gets so hot. Like, if you're ever interested, just lay your finger on there after a couple seconds of letting it run. And that's what you're doing to your hair every time that you're like just basically laying this flat on the hair trying to blow dry with high heat. This is why this little doodad, which most people will throw out when they get a new blow dryer, is so important. This is called a concentrator. This goes on the end of the dryer. This not only protects your hair from the grill of the blow dryer, but it also directs the heat into one fluid motion. So you can see, instead of the air just flying everywhere, it's concentrated into one direction. So as you're blow drying your hair, this is gonna help you lay your cuticle down flat. That's how you get nice, shiny, soft, silky locks when you blow dry. Just make sure that you are using a blow dry primer, like a spray or a cream or some sort of heat protectant, because the blow dryer can get kind of hot even on a medium heat. So just don't overthink it. It's common sense. If you want to air dry your hair, air dry your hair. If it bugs you that it's not quite as sleek and straight as what a blow dryer is, just make sure you're taking precautions. That's all. Common sense. All right, that's it for today. Just a couple of hair myths that I've kind of heard over the years and just via my Instagram poll, and wanted to address those for you guys. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave some in the comments or hit me up on Instagram. I'm always willing to answer your questions or concerns about anything. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at ChristyBrownBeauty. I also have updated my website. I did a little bit of rebranding, so you guys can check that out both on my Instagram page and on my website. All the links are in my link tree on my Instagram page. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.